Today we are going to talk about two important aspects of working with radiesthesia graphs: saturation and cleansing. You may eventually hear someone say that a graph has become saturated and can no longer be used. Some people even claim that once this happens, you must throw the graph away and buy or print a new one, and that paper graphs can only be used once. That is not the case. Saturation does not necessarily mean that the graph is permanently unusable. To understand this concept, imagine a towel. A towel can absorb only a limited amount of water. The larger and thicker the towel is, the more water it can absorb. But when the towel becomes completely soaked, it cannot absorb any more water. At that point, we say that the towel is saturated. Does this mean you need to throw the towel away? Of course not. You simply need to remove the water and allow the towel to dry before using it again. Something similar happens with graphs. Over time, a graph may accumulate energetic residue from the treatments, witnesses, commands, and information placed on it. When this accumulation becomes excessive, the graph may become less efficient. This condition is what practitioners commonly call graph saturation. However, not every graph saturates at the same rate. Its size, thickness, material, physical volume, and frequency of use may all influence how quickly saturation occurs. For example, a small paper graph has very little physical volume. A large graph made from thick MDF or wood has much more volume and may take considerably longer to become saturated. A thick wooden graph measuring more than 15 by 15 centimeters, or approximately 6 by 6 inches, may be used for a very long time, especially when it is cleaned regularly. And I am talking years here. Paper graphs, on the other hand, are more susceptible to saturation because they have very little physical volume. When I print a graph, I use the thickest paper my printer can safely handle. This makes the graph more durable and may allow it to remain effective for longer. After using a paper graph several times, I check its condition with my pendulum. You can check the condition of your graph too. Do this. Point to the graph with your non-dominant hand while holding the pendulum in your dominant hand and ask, "Is this graph saturated?" If the answer is yes, try cleansing the graph using one of the methods I will explain next. After cleansing it, ask the same question again. If the pendulum still indicates that the graph is saturated, it may be time to discard it and print a new copy. Fortunately, paper graphs are easy and inexpensive to replace. There is no reason to keep working with a graph that your pendulum indicates is no longer effective. What is the best material for graph saturation? The best material is wood and MDF because they impregnate the least. A wooden graph can last for years or even decades if cleaned regularly. Second place are the graphs made of PVC, polyvinyl chloride, a synthetic plastic polymer or any other related plastic material. So how do you cleanse your graph? Instead of immediately replacing a graph, you can cleanse it to remove accumulated energetic residue. There are several simple methods you can use. The first method, and my favorite, is a black flannel. Gently wipe the entire surface of the graph with the black flannel. Pass it over the geometry, the edges, and the back of the graph. Black fabric is commonly used to absorb and neutralize residual energetic information. The flannel creates static to help disturb the energy accumulated. Keep this flannel exclusively for cleansing your graphs. Do not use the same cloth for ordinary household cleaning, okay? The second method is running water. This method is suitable for waterproof graphs, especially those made from plastic, PVC, acrylic, or another water-resistant material. Hold the graph under running water for a short period while mentally setting the intention that any accumulated or unwanted information is being removed. Afterward, dry the graph with a paper towel completely before using it again. Do not use this method on paper, cardboard, untreated MDF, wood, or any material that may absorb water, swell, warp, or become damaged. The third cleansing method is smoke. You can use the smoke from Palo Santo and slowly pass the graph through it. Allow the smoke to reach the front, back, and edges of the graph. As you do this, maintain the clear intention of neutralizing any residual information and restoring the graph to a clean state. Be careful when using smoke near flammable materials, and always work in a well-ventilated space far from your smoke detector. You do not necessarily need to wait until a graph appears saturated before cleansing it. You can make cleansing part of your regular practice, especially after intense treatments, long broadcasts, work involving several different people, or frequent changes of witnesses and commands. You may also use your pendulum to evaluate the graph. For example, you can ask, does this graph need to be cleansed? Is this graph ready to be used again? After cleansing, verify the graph one more time before beginning a new treatment or broadcast. The main point is simple. Saturation does not automatically mean that a graph has reached the end of its useful life. Just as a saturated towel can be dried and reused, a graph may be cleansed, neutralized, and prepared for future work. Take care of your grafts, cleanse them regularly, and observe how they respond over time. I always wipe my grafts with a black flannel before using them. Always. This can help preserve your materials and maintain a cleaner, more consistent radiesthesia practice. What about you? Do you usually cleanse your grafts after using them? Let me know about your routine in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.